Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Jessica Jones, Season 2, Episode 3. It's called AKA Soul Survivor, so full spoilers for the episode, as always. So, we had critical points on both the first two episodes. You're a bit more positive in the first one than I was. We're coming into this one with the happy news that Will's dead, so that happened last episode. That was a nice...
Yeah,
that was a nice...
nice ending.
just a nice relief for the rest of the show,
Yeah,
you know?
once we don't need to worry about that.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about Will.
We've been worried about that since the end of season one.
Pretty much, yes. We were worried that he was going to be the main villain for season 2 since season 1 ended. That was always a concern. So that's off our backs. Great. So that's good. It's funny. I feel like obviously we'll talk about where the plot goes. I think there's things I like. There's some pacing issues here or there. I think my biggest complaints though. I don't have, like, you know how the first two episodes I had like a big complaint about something specifically. I don't have that again this time. I have the same complaints about the Hogarth subplot and the Super Oscar subplot. I don't have another big complaint about the main plot though this week or this episode, which is so good. That's an improvement.
Yeah, that's a good thing. So I guess in that sense, this could be classed as the best of the three.
I guess it could. Yeah, I wouldn't say it shook my world, but yeah,
It's just tangible improvement. That's a good sign.
This is good. Yeah, so I'll give it that. A wild foggy appeared out of nowhere.
I wasn't expecting that.
I was like, oh yeah, he's working for her. That was the
Yeah,
thing. And then he just kind of leaves, and I imagine we'll see him once or twice again, if that.
yeah, probably.
Yeah, that'll do the trick. So, yeah, in terms of the main plot, and in terms of what Jessica's up to, it's her and Trisha kind of teaming up. They're PIing together, despite Jessica not wanting a sidekick, and they're looking into. At first, they're trying to figure out okay, can we get you to remember anything you've forgotten about your past, about the clinic, about any of this stuff, and go to a therapist. Jessica scares them off pretty quickly, which
Yep.
amusing, but. She does actually end up having a dream where she remembers something. She remembers enough to go and check the door, and she blows some dust on the door to get the name of the office door, and that sets them on the path for this doctor. They're trying to find her, and it leads them to this apartment, which is suspiciously empty. And when I say empty, I mean as in it looks like it's an empty apartment for someone to move into.
Desolate. Yeah,
Yeah, there's nothing in the cupboards. There's nothing anywhere. There's no furniture, or there is some furniture, but again,
the bare minimum.
it's an open house for people to move into, is what it is. But they end up going down to because they hear from the super or the landlord in the building that she moved out and they were moving boxes down to the basement like a couple of weeks ago. So they go down and check, and I actually really enjoyed the moment where they find the skull inside the furnace. I thought that was played. Just both of them kind of freaking out, because Jessica is typically quite a tough character, but even having her going full girly for just a split second as she realised she's holding a skull was kind of amusing. I enjoyed that.
Like, even for her, this was okay. That's new.
It was like, oh, I don't want to touch that. And
Yeah.
I'm not judging, I'd be the same, but it's just funny because Jessica's more of a man than I am, so
Oh yeah, she definitely is.
yeah. And you too, shut your face.
Hey, I reserve the right to not be judged.
So that was I thought that was entertaining, and that set them on the path. And Trish, kinda, playing rough, because we see that she's on edge. She's got a gun by her side. She almost shoots her boyfriend. Unfortunately, I suppose the one complaint we should have is that we were worried the last couple of reviews that, oh, boyfriend's going to turn out to be a bad guy. I hope that doesn't happen. It's such an obvious thing to do. And here, I mean, we don't know he's bad necessarily yet, but he pulls out a USB drive and starts, taking information off of Trish's
So
last laptop.
there's two ways this can go: worst case scenario and best case scenario.
Okay.
Worst case scenario, yeah, he's a villain. Best case scenario, he's just a little bit slimy and wants the story for himself because he thinks he's actually onto something.
Oh, I don't think that's
I,
best case scenario.
I think that's better than just outright villain.
It's not much better though. Because
It's not.
it's still villainous. It's not I'm working with a bad organisation, but it's he's not the perfect boyfriend you thought he was. And because I was really worried after they have that conversation in the car, Trish and Jessica, where Jessica's like, "Oh, I already looked into him." Like as soon as you started dating him, I'm like,
Yeah,
I
of
looked
course
at
you
his
would.
past. I wanted to make, I made sure, because someone has to rescue yourself from your own vagina. I believe was the line, which was a good line. That was a pretty funny line.
Was.
But it's just like, no, I mean, yeah, he's lived a lively life, but nothing.
Yeah, because
no
Trish goes, "Oh,
demons.
you didn't find anything," and that's immediately suspicious.
Yeah. It's like, no, I mean he's done like yeah he's had a like he's done stuff, but he's not done anything bad. There's no
Yeah.
demons like that. Because she's like joking and saying, oh, he's going to turn it to have a pornography addiction, or he's going to turn it to what was the other thing she said? There was something else.
Oh,
It was even more mundane.
it was, yeah.
But regardless, and I was like, okay, all right, it's too perfect. Okay, so now I'm expecting him to turn out to be an asshole in some way. I think the best case scenario is that he's just so worried about Trish that he wants to look into it himself and kind of basically be overly protective and
Yeah,
I'll take care of everything. I mean, it's still a bit douchey. Don't get me wrong. It's very mansplainy, overprotection sort of stuff. But
It is, but in their defense, they kind of established that this episode as part of his character.
oh sure, yeah, because they have that whole thing where he's fighting with her. Because you shouldn't have been doing that yourself. It was dangerous. And
Yeah, and then he acknowledges that that's what happened with his first wife. That was like the whole problem, was that she was worried about him, and now he's like, okay, this is how it feels.
I don't love that, but it's best case scenario because at least it makes him not villainous. Because it's at least noble intentions.
No, that's true.
Because otherwise he's just a cliche.
Oh yeah. But I guess I'm just expecting cliche at this point.
Yeah,
it's just I don't want it to be worst case cliche.
I suppose the question we have to ask yourself is how much does it matter? Does it matter if it's like full cliche or 80% cliche?
The thing is, when this is doing just all the noir stuff, I don't mind some cliche. It's just how bad's it going to be?
Well, that's the thing, though. I expect cliches in the case. I expect cliches in the, we found a clue and that led us to this, and because arguably some of that stuff is pretty cliched already.
Yeah, some of the narration as well.
Yeah, the narration, yeah. But when it's playing out, that's kind of what it's focusing on. That's kind of what its thing is. That's fine. But it's just when it's all the other stuff that's cliche, the melodrama on the side that's cliche. That's a little bit more tough to take. And speaking of melodrama, so Oscar the Supers try to have her evicted.
Yeah.
Which leads to some baffling scenes. So turns out the landlord's gay, and Jessica sends Malcolm thinking, "Oh, he's a hottie. He'll charm him," without telling him that that's what he's there to do. He just sends him to talk to him.
Yeah, and he kind of clocks on.
Yeah, till like halfway through the conversation, he kind of realizes, and the landlord was kind of like, assumed that's what Jessica was doing as well. So the landlord assumes it, and then Malcolm kind of catches on from the way he's like kind of responding to him. And he's like, okay.
Oh, I get what she's doing now. I get why I'm here.
Yeah. So that was whatever, but obviously Jessica goes and confronts Oscar, brings it up. She looks into him. He's on parole. He's got a past, and she sneaks into his house at one point. Because she floods the toilet. She blocks the toilet with a lot of tampons, and she ends up trying to sneak into his place and gets caught by the kid. But the kid's kind of happy to just talk to her. He's like, "Oh yeah, I like you more than my dad does. That's fine."
Yeah. The kid's a bit starstruck.
Yeah, but Oscar obviously is very pissed, and he has this whole confrontation like, "Hey, my son means everything to me, and I'm going to fight for custody, and blah 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 blah. Stay away from me, and you bring all this trouble, and it's not just parole, keeping police away, and all the rest of it, blah blah blah." And yeah, I kind of feel the same as the last episode, where this is just all additional melodrama on a side plot that
I don't give a shit about.
And at least right now, it doesn't feel like it really connects to anything, really.
It doesn't, not at all. Which is, I guess, to jump over slightly, the Hogarth stuff, the one positive I can say is at least I understand where it fits in now.
It's giving Jessica something else to do. I guess it's questionable how much it'll actually tie into the main plot as it goes on.
I get at least how it relates to Jessica now, which is better. I think it still spends too long getting to that point, but...
And here's the thing, right? So Hogarth, we see her have a confrontation with her bosses. We see her have the confrontation with Foggy. Foggy's trying to like convince her, "Hey, I'll help you fight this. This is kind of bullshit. That's clause." And she's like, "How dare you come in and think you can help me? Like, we're not friends." Yeah, Foggy, try to piss off. Like, she's this unlikable. But she comes to Jessica, and I couldn't help but feel, because we've said how much we'd cut her stuff down from the last couple of episodes, right? And I couldn't help but feel that the moment where she just flat out tells Jessica, "I've got ALS," I couldn't help but feel like this moment would play so much better if we hadn't seen her moping about, and like, because it was clear that she was dying of something the whole time. Had we just seen maybe the one scene in the doctor's room, better filmed admittedly, and then the next time we saw her was like maybe here, maybe one scene in between, but not much else.
I think I said last time I defended the scene in the car but a cut down version.
Yeah.
So have, a better version of the doctor's office, a
'Cause
cut down version of the car, and I
can,
think you do need the one, maybe a small scene with the other lawyers.
yeah, maybe, but we don't really know what's going on. I think it'd have to be a bit more overt. Because here's the thing. Again, going back to that argument we had in the first episode about how, we find out the wizards actually got superpowers when Jessica finds out. I feel like this moment would have been way more effective if we were finding out with Jessica how serious this was. But we knew how serious it was. We didn't know the exact disease, but we knew how serious it was.
It didn't really matter, did it? You see a reaction and... Yeah, okay, it's rough. We knew that.
It would have played so much better because Jessica's like really confrontational at first, and then she finds out what she's got, and her demeanor changes, her attitude changes.
She just drops, doesn't she?
And she's like, okay, I'll help. And that's why this might become more important for Jessica's character in the sense that she's willing to help with this, and what it's going to say about her and what her mind's going through.
Right.
So it could become very relevant to her character throughout the season, which is why, yeah, okay, we'll give it a bit of leeway in that sense. That said, I still think we revealed far too much of it through far too many scenes that we could have just cut out.
Agreed. I think 1 or 2 scenes shorter per episode is all we need. So, like the first episode, we have 1 scene to set her up plus the doctor's office. Second episode was just the car scene cut down. And then this one, short scene with the lawyers.
But here's the thing, I would have changed the scene with the lawyers. I wouldn't have had it been about them trying to buy her out because of health clause, because that would make it obvious what it is. I'd make it be Hogarth is fighting them really hard on something, but we don't understand...
Just confrontational with
them. But we don't understand
yeah.
why she's fighting so hard for this, whatever it is.
Yeah,
and then we find out here that she's sick. And I think that would have played better. But
yeah.
It'd have wasted far less time as well.
It would. But I'm willing to give it a little bit of leeway going forwards, and now it's actually connected to Jessica, and see what it's going to do for her.
Yeah. No, I'm on that. So the big thing that happens then is Trish actually kind of bullshits her way on the show, like on our talk show. She brings up the doctor, this Nelson, or Nielsen I think it was, and she calls her out. And she gets a phone call almost immediately saying, hey, I'll meet you. And she tells Jess, and Jess is like, you're not going to this, you kidding me? And she like puts an Instagram photo out saying that she's split up with her boyfriend so that the paparazzi will be harassing her. She's like, yeah, well, can't go with the paparazzi.
Oh, it's a full-on bitch move.
Oh, it's a full-on bitch move. But she sends off. And I like that Trish and Malcolm are still kind of a, buddy-buddy system. I like that. Although, just one minor thing, and it's not really a complaint about this episode, it's more just a complaint left over from last episode, it just reminded me of it in this episode. It's when Malcolm says to Jessica, oh, did you eventually get a hold of Trish? And I'm like, you were with Trish for most of that plot where she was away.
I know, I thought that was weird as well.
I was like, this is bizarre. Like, why are you acting like you didn't know who she was? I mean, you didn't know she was at the end of the night, sure, but, like, again, going back to when the scene of her, like, being panicking with Griffin in the apartment, he was still with her at that point.
That stood out to me. I was like, is he covering? Like, pretending he wasn't involved?
Bizarre. And he brings up the video, and Trish is like, I hope I don't have to use it. But I like that they're working together. I like that, like, she'll use him behind Jessica's back. I kind of like that. I'm down with that idea. And he ends up getting $200 for his trouble as well, but he helps her sneak out away from the paparazzi.
Yeah.
Because they pay him for a tip.
Do you know what I love about this pairing? Is, inevitably when Jessica finds out they've been doing stuff behind her back.
She's going to fire him for a start.
No. She's going to be really proud of him. Being like, oh, you're learning.
Oh, you think? All right.
Yeah.
I'm thinking she'll fire him. And when I say fire him, I don't really mean fire him. I mean, she'll say he's fired again.
Oh, yeah, no, that'll be the first thing. And then be like, yeah, you're fired. You can do this on your own now. I feel like that's the end point of that.
Yeah, maybe. So, basically they're like, okay. And the reason why they rush off is because she actually gets the call. Because they basically, there's a whole thing where Jessica's sneaks in, puts the skull that they found in the hospital in the morgue, and then Trish, and she also like puts out like the database that it's meant to be there, so that it's not like someone's surprised. Oh, there's a skull here for no reason. And then Trish uses her contact there, who's like a fan of the show or whatever, to like, hey, when you get the results of that skull, and do you want to give me a call and tell me who it is? But it turns out to be the doctor, who at this point in the episode we have seen meet with Jessica in the bar when she was meant to meet Trish, and she's sitting down and having a drink and talking about stuff and there's not really much that comes from the conversation other than that she's not guilty. Like, she's like, oh no, we made people, you just survived, you have nothing to be upset about.
I mean, you say that I assume this is someone standing in as the doctor.
Oh, of course, yeah. Again, she's talking at first, and then we find out, oh no, that skull was the doctor. So who is this person now?
Right, exactly. So,
Yeah.
but she's very defensive of IGH, isn't she?
Very, very defensive of them, and she's like, "Oh, well, you survived, so you should be happy. You've got gifts. You're
Yeah, and
hunky
they
dory."
tell Jessica she was dead,
Yeah,
like clinically dead, and they brought her back.
yeah, and of course the big thing is when it does get to confrontation level, this woman has powers
Oh yeah.
because she has strength to hold the table against Jessica, and she kicks her through the wall. She ends up, doing what Jessica does, where she like jumps up the building, and we see her sort of in the background, kind of, running away on the rooftop. And
She runs into Malcolm when she goes back past, and he just looks like he's been punched so hard in the chest.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why Trish and Malcolm are running over to her because they know it's not really her. There's someone setting her up. This is a trap of some kind, and maybe it wasn't a trap per se, but this person's not who she says she is. So there's something fishy going on.
Yeah.
But Jessica grabs. There's a random paparazzi guy who's like, "Is this Malcolm, your new boyfriend?" And I do think they're going to use this as a plot thing. I do think they're going to have some Griffin thinking, "Oh, you're hanging around with this Malcolm guy, all the time now."
I think it's possible. I hope not. Don't get me wrong, the pair have chemistry, but I can't be bothered going through that plot.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily want them. I mean, I don't mind if Malcolm and Trish become a couple, but I don't want to go through the drama of the love triangle with boring old Griffin.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. I hope that she'll just say, Jessica's at the paparazzi on me. And he'll be like, oh, Jessica.
Yeah. Hi, Jessica. But she grabs the guy's camera and he's just like, please don't smash it. Freedom of the press, please.
It's a good response. Please,
Yeah.
just don't do it.
Well, it's a nice DSLR camera, so
It's not too shabby.
I get it. I've had that. Was that my camera? I'd not want to be smashed either. You told me to remind you about headphone jacks after you watched it.
Yeah, this is not necessarily I can play the show, but something that stood out really weird to me.
Uh-huh.
When did they move where headphone jacks on laptops are? Because I haven't had a laptop in maybe 4 or 5 years.
Joe, it's funny. See, when you said remind me about the headphone jack, I thought you were going to point out that someone's headphones weren't connected when they were supposed to be or something like that. Someone stupid little mistake, but okay.
No. So I haven't had a laptop in a couple of years. I've been, desktop. But I when I had them, they were, on the side at the bottom, in the main unit. In Trish's laptop here, it's on the top side of the screen.
Just be that make a laptop.
No, maybe I was like, but when did they move up there? That's a really strange place for it.
It's just like most desktop computer buttons are at the top of the computer, but I had one a couple of computers ago where the button was like halfway down the side, and it was like a weird oddity where it's at the side for some reason. So
no, I get it. I just looked at it, I was like, why there? What design choice would you choose to put it there?
I think you also get like computer monitors now that have like USB slots built in, so you can hook it up to your computer and have some USB slots on your monitor and stuff. So it is a thing. You can do
it just in a laptop there. It just seems like the weird place because it's going to trail across your vision.
Do you know what it'll be? It'll be one of those laptops where you can take the screen off and it's a tablet. So the jack has to be in a tablet.
You're right. That could be it.
There you go. I've sussed it.
Okay, you've got it. Because then you're right. Because then it would be at the bottom right of the tablet. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, that answers my question. Thank you, because that was driving me crazy. That was really bothering me. I was like,
I wouldn't have even thought about it, but actually now I'm thinking about it. There's so many, laptops that become tablets now. That makes more sense.
Yeah, because I was just there. I was like, it's going to trail across your vision in your screen. I'm like, why would you put it there?
Even if it doesn't disconnect, if it folds over so you can use it as a tablet, same difference.
Yeah. No, you're right. So that makes a lot of sense.
There you go. Got to the bottom of it. It should be a PI.
Appreciated. That's going to bother me for a long time.
Okay. So, so I like the main case stuff. I like the mystery of who's this woman because it's clearly setting up a new villain. Whether she's the villain herself or she's going to lead to the new villain.
Yeah, just on behalf of this company, medical company.
That said, though, given that she has powers, I'm inclined to think she might be the physical big bad, at least for a while.
Perhaps, maybe for a few episodes at least. Yeah. I don't know if I don't see her as the end game of the season.
Oh sure, yeah, I could see her, maybe the mid season, then we would get to the big bad at the company behind her. It could
be a case of not an individual big bad, but a whole bunch of them, like like a swarm of these sorts of people.
Oh yeah, it could be a team almost, yeah.
Yeah. I don't
know. Although it stands to reason that this woman's the one who's been killing people because she's got the strength to do it.
It does, yes.
So, it's not guaranteed, but it stands that it's very possible it could be her.
Yes, and she has the mobility with the way she crawls up that building.
Yep. So, No, so no, I'm okay. I'm okay on the main plot for the most part. Still got complaints about the side plots, but
Not as bad as the previous episodes, even though.
yeah. It's a bit, it's at least much better than Iron Fist, where even the main plot was tedious as shit to get through.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
When Jessica's being Jessica to people, I'm usually having fun. So
Yeah, at this stage, I'm not like, oh, I don't want to keep watching this.
yes.
Whereas by this point in Punisher, I was starting to feel like that.
Oh yeah. I mean, sure. For the record, I won't go into it much because I'll just be saying it every episode. But for the record, again, yes, the episode's too long. Like I'd cut down the episode again, but I'll just footnote that at the end of each one now because there's no point in me getting into it in detail.
Yeah, unless there's something offensively long.
Yeah. Because the same complaint as the last couple, so there's no reason to completely embellish it again. But anyway, so that's Jessica Jones, episode 3 of season 2. We'll be back hopefully tomorrow with episode 4. So thank you very much for checking this out. Let us know what you thought of the episode in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mail_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel, over at patreon.com/mailfuzztv. There's a link to that in the description. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV. Have you got any vanilla?